generally speaking, people won't bitch. I'm talking mad shit this whole fucking episode, but the song gets pretty emotional. It's a very deep one.
When that EKG hits, it really fucking hits. You know,
Yeah,
it will give you a lump in your throat, and you might even cry.
and this is gonna hit home for both of us. Actually, we recently lost somebody, and this song kind of alludes to that. Moving on, we're going to get into Erra here. So this is old school Erra. So much like old school Balamaya, much like old school The Contortionist, much like old school a lot of metal, you know, there's a difference between the modern, especially the modern day Erra, and the old Erra. So this is the original Erra from 11 years ago. We're going back into the golden age of gent. So we're going to get nice and genty up in here. It's one of those roads you gotta really, you know, tiptoe through. I feel like it has that suffers from the same issues as some of the other songs that not a lot of people listen to their early stuff and they just kind of pass over it when it was actually really, really good. My recommendations with Erra, for anybody who doesn't know who Erra is, they're awesome. Most people that I've noticed that aren't particularly metal fans tend to actually like Erra because they're very accessible.
They're like Jesse.
Modern Erra, like the modern Erra, is very radio friendly. It is. Now, maybe not very radio funny, but it's catchy. It's got melodies to it. Jesse adds his, you know, the sort of soft flavors to it that make it more accessible for most people. However, old school Erra gets super deep. They had some really interesting concepts for their albums back then as well. Very very heavy. Still had Jesse as a singer, but he kind of had a sort of more of a back role vocally, which a little more endearing, I would say. Like, he was more focused on the music in general, and his vocals were nowhere near as they are now. But because of that, they also didn't take the forefront of the songs either. And his vocals weren't as annoying at points as they are in some of their more modern ones, I would say. This song particularly, and this is gonna hit home for both of us. Actually, we recently lost somebody, and this song kind of alludes to that. Obviously, it's about death. It's about losing somebody who's really close to you. I think it talks about losing a father figure, how hard that is as a person, but even as a man, like, to have a father figure die on you is sort of the end of your beginning in a sense. And you'll see we're kind of going to go into that here. They use the EKG monitor in this.
Make it hit hard.
It makes it hit hard, and I think it happens just right before the breakdown. Placement's great. It matches the tempo, and it produces like that deep emotion with it. So the song gets pretty emotional. It's a very deep one. Beautiful song. So here's Erra, Heart by Erra. Check this out. EKG, unconventional means. Here we go. Let's get into it.
When was the last time you looked at me with adoration? I've only existed by the blessing of your apparition. I
Yeah, I mean, it's a super awesome build up to it. I think it's one of those songs, you need to go actually listen to the lyrics and read it and really appreciate it. That's when that song matters to you.
That's one of those songs that you listen to in the right place, the right time. It like
It
really
hits,
sends
man.
you, you know? Yeah.
When that EKG hits, it really fucking hits,
Yeah.
time and a place.
It 100% that qualifies to me as being used as an instrument. Like it
That's
has
the
like
breakdown. That's
Yeah.
like the epitome of the breakdown of the song. It's like there was a build up to that, just like to hit you right in the feels,
it just
in context.
yeah, absolutely. If anybody has any sort of similar songs to show us that are similar to that in any kind of way, we'd love to hear them. But that's one for me that just hits, man. Yeah, if you're going through something, man, like stuff like that, we'll get you through it. Epic as hell. Erra, by the way, again, we'll check out Andromeda as well at some point in terms of old school era.
Lots of
Modern
Erra.
era is great. So I mean, I've been listening to some of the new era. I haven't gotten enough of a listen yet of the rest of the album. But Erra's great. Sometimes like some of their more modern stuff, again, Jesse can be a bit much.
Yeah, he gets to. That's when I bail on Erra. Is when I bail on Jesse.
You know what? Their last album was still really good.
But here's the thing, though. I don't want him to get like. Let's say he listens to this. It's like their best songs are when he's in them at his best type of stuff. Their best stuff is when it wouldn't be their best stuff without him.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes it feels like they're forcing him, and his high pitched stuff it gets old sometimes, or it gets repetitive in some songs. That's when it gets to be too much.
Erra did do a collaboration with someone in EDM, and I forget who the fuck it was. Yeah, Phase One in an Erra called World Unknown, and I liked this song the first time I heard it, and then I hated it the second time I heard it. Because exactly the reason that you don't like Jesse in some of these songs is exactly
Right.
the reasons I didn't. It's the most repetitive. It's good, honestly. Like the first time I heard it, I'm like, all right, I get it. And the second time I listened to it sober, it's like no fucking way.
Yeah,
I'm done.
yeah.
It's just too much of the same shit. Actually, the sad part is JT it's actually a really good verse that he has in that song. It's fucking actually is really good. It's the best part of the whole song, bar none. And actually, JT is fucking amazing, by the way. The original singer for Erra was obviously wicked. Yeah, Garrison. He's obviously awesome. Sick, classic. That golden age of gent vocalist type. JT honestly might be one of the last that's like that. Like that, you know what I mean? Like that Brandon Butler sound to him, you know?
Yeah. I haven't heard. I mean, I don't listen to much modern stuff these days, but yeah.
Like, yeah, for modern metal, there's not much, like, you don't hear Brandon Butler level screamers anymore.
Yeah.
You know, you got Bono Osiris, kind of. Ronnie's kind of close, but even then, he's kind of almost in his own category, and to some degree, but still there. And JT as well, like, you know, for a modern metal vocalist, he's got that deep growl, that depth of the deeper, I don't know what you'd call that, sort of like the vibrato almost of
Where it's not just screaming. Yeah.
it's like a reverberation almost going on within their own depth of their vocals. Most modern screamers are just you know, high end screaming, and it's not the deep growls that we, you know, tend to appreciate. I'm talking mad shit this whole fucking episode, but The Ghost Inside, great band, love them.
We're gonna do some of that for sure. I think we're that next.
While I'm on the band of talking shit about vocalists, I think I don't like, to me, vocalist for The Ghost Inside is like, what the fuck ever. Kind of the same as Meshuggah a little bit as well, like kind of very basic.
But sometimes it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like
No, it's not.
AC/DC's lead singer sucked dick.
I don't know about that. I agree with you.
I don't
agree
know.
with you.
I don't know what the masses think, but the masses think that
Obviously,
AC/DC lead singer sucks.
Do they?
That's what they say. No, the boomers are saying that. Oh, even though the lead singer sucks, we still love him. Type shit.
Is that what it is? But yes, you know, sometimes it has its time and place. Jesse has his time and place more often than not.
So that's the thing. So here's the thing. So that's the thing. When he starts, sometimes in the more boring, they're not better songs. It gets repetitive and there isn't like a melody to it. But look at a song like for me is Skyline by Erra, where it fits so perfectly. You know.
Yeah.
It's like when it works, it fucking works, and it has to have him for it to work. That's the thing.
Skyline
Like, I'm sure Alexis on Fire's bad songs are really bad. And I'm sure What's His Face is annoying as shit in their bad songs.
can be. Yeah,
You know
I
what I
agree.
mean?
I agree. That's another band also, by the way, we have to get on here. Alexis on Fire is like super popular up here for us because they're Canadian and they're down the street, but like they're not nearly as big as I think they seem to be to us.
And they actually didn't sell out.
No, it's true they didn't. And
Which
look,
is
Downstream's
awesome.
awesome. Singing Color's awesome. It's not metal.
Super awesome.
Like,
Super awesome. Yeah.
but Skyline, by the way, is another awesome.
Yeah. It's not underrated. It's not underrated. It's got 2.5 million views.
It's not underrated. But if you want to show metal to somebody who doesn't listen to metal, your girlfriend or something like that,
Erra's the band for sure.
Erra is a very good band to do that with. Skyline specifically as well is a very good entryway. Like, I think, and I've done this, you could play Skyline at a party, and generally speaking, people won't bitch. It won't clear a room the way that Car Bomb would clear a room.
Yeah.
You put Car Bomb on at a party, half of that room is gone. If it's just the average people. But with Skyline specifically, with Erra, you're probably fine. Most of them actually, I bet you might even convert one or two of them. If
you're listening to this, go to the Erra Skyline official music video on YouTube and look at the first comment, the top comment. It will give you a lump in your throat and you might even cry. It's too long for us to do it here, I think. Maybe you can read it out, but that will hit you right in the feels, man. I read that like maybe 5-6 years ago, or I guess 4 years ago when it came out. Hit me right in the feels. Made this song an official favorite.
The song was already way up there for me. Anyways, this is a wicked song. There's a reason I have this album on my arm, by the way.
Hell yeah!
And there's some animals for you, by the way. Just in case you weren't sure I was a metalhead, anybody that's watching this, like, there's a reason that we're doing this. But this album is my favorite album of Erra's. If you haven't checked out the Drift album, do it. Again, another album where there's also songs on this album, by the way, that I think are underrated as fuck. We'll get into those later at some point. This whole album is fire. Like, the actual song Drift is disgusting. The end of Drift is fucking disgusting. Go sit in your car, do nothing. Go stare at the sunset, and you get to the end of Drift. Oh my fucking god. Goosebump inducing. If it doesn't give you goosebumps, we're different people. Let's call it for tonight. There goes
Jeez, good luck, have fun.
Unconventional sounds and metal. And if you have any more for us, leave them in the comments below. Hey guys, thanks for watching. We're gonna go right back to our regular schedule programming with a song that's underrated from Job for a Cowboy. It's coming up next. Stay tuned.